we're currently in the middle of a downtown New Orleans trying to cross this crossway. We're gonna go to a haunted.
They got a left turn signal. I don't think they're gonna go.
Okay, now it says we can walk. We're on our way to do like a haunted tour. We're gonna be getting on an actual like carriage ride on a mule. So it's our first time and we're pretty excited. Hopefully you guys can hear me over the noise because it is pretty noisy. You know you got them straight when you huffing and puffing. Oh, it's so pretty at night.
Look at that little police car.
Oh,
Careful,
well,
this car's turning.
they're jaywalking. Shit. That's what happens when you don't pay attention. Where is it?
It's across. See the lines? No lines.
New Orleans on Thanksgiving night. Pretty steady flow. Okay, now we can walk.
Right here.
Okay.
Gotta get the other side.
I believe we're officially in the French Quarter. About this haunted tour. Are you guys scared?
Me?
Yeah, you so fatty?
I can't tell if you were playing. I am so scared. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself.
Sarcasm.
Can I hold your hand?
I'm sitting next to Marcos.
I am scared about the tour and sitting next to Berto.
Why are you?
Probably try to scare us more than anybody else.
Remember Halloween Horror Nights? Why are you so annoying? You guys, if you are the only child, be grateful. Right, Marcos? You're the only child, you'd know.
Yeah.
Because this is what not being the only child looks like. Get Berto. And then you get me.
And then you get me. I'm like the coolest one of all. Then you got the nerdy one. Then you got a brother who we can literally go months without talking to. Hey, I'm sweating, y'all. Hey, my beanie head. Who's a sassy one?
Me? I know.
I'm not sassy. I just tell you how it is. That's what happens when you grow up in the hood. Can't help it. Okay, back to the streets.
It's randomly off the ground. Yeah, he's got one bull and one pole up. Stand over there next to that. Can I stand on the other side?
You still couldn't cover all your kids. You know what I mean? It's like,
Oh, she's cute. She's looking at you.
but it's not. I'm not particularly saying.
Aww.
You know, but yeah. Yeah. But
Come on, Evelyn, so we can have a seat.
because of them not being able to cover their kids, it's the reason why. Yeah.
So we're currently on the carriage, getting ready to start this tour in a bit. We got front row, so hope I can get some good
I
decent.
look like I'm posing.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that.
Can you hush?
That's
I'm gonna
professional shot right
record.
there. Unintentional.
All right, guys. So we're currently on the carriage, ready to start this tour.
See, it's dark. Why don't you add some light?
Well, it's dark, but that's as good as it's gonna get. Huh?
It's a ghost in history.
It's a Ghost in History tour, and it is $40 per person, and we got it through Groupon, but it seems to be, even though you don't book it through Groupon, it's still $40. So I know it's dark, but hopefully I can get
They just like to know.
some good footage for y'all. And I'm in the front seat with my sister.
That's me.
You can't even see you. It's so dark. All right, so I'll catch up in a bit.
What time does this thing start?
At 9.
You got 4 more coming. Yes, sir. We're starting a tour here at Jackson Square. And this is where France first settled the city in 1718. Originally called Place d'Armes. It was a military parade ground, the headquarters for the colony, also where they held all their public executions. Right it in. Alright, little girl, now let's get on out of here. So guys, as we get around here, as I said, you get a great view of Jackson Square. And of course, the most prominent feature behind there is St. Louis Cathedral. That is the oldest active cathedral in the country. Well, it is the 3rd church to set on that site. First church was blown down in a hurricane in 1722. Second church burned down in the Great Fire of 1788. At that time, we were under Spanish rule. A man named Don Almanazar from Spain started construction on St. Louis Cathedral, 1794. And Don Almanazar also built the 2 twin buildings that flanked the cathedral, 1795. On the left side of the Cabildo, there was the seat of government for the colony, the jailhouse. On the 2nd floor is James Monroe, signing the final draft of the Louisiana Purchase. It's now Louisiana State Museum. Its most prized possession is Napoleon's death mask. On the right side of the cathedral, the presbytere, originally built to house the clergy, is now a Mardi Gras museum. Kind of ironic, if you ask me. There's also a Hurricane Katrina exhibit inside the presbytere. Now that fire in 1788, I told you, to burn down the church, it happened on Good Friday. The fire started right around the corner from the Cabildo. They were having a gathering there for Good Friday, and some large banners. They were flying around in these 40-mile-per-hour winds. Standing there at the gathering was the Spanish treasurer of the colony, Don Nunez. He was holding a gas lantern, accidentally dropped the lantern. The banners licked up into the flames, got caught up into the buildings. And those flames fed by those 40-mile-per-hour winds. All those wooden buildings right next to each other went up like a box of matches. When the fire first started, one of the priests at the gathering raced to the church. He was going to have the monks sound the church bells. That was the warning at the time to let everybody know there was a fire spreading throughout the city. When we forgot on Good Friday, the monks take a vow of silence. They were not able to communicate with the priest. So the priest raced up to the tower to sound the bells himself. Well, he also forgot on Good Friday it was tradition to wrap the bells in black sackcloth. He was not able to sound the bells to warn the people of the fire. And that fire destroyed 856 buildings in less than 4 hours, killed over 3,000 people. On Good Friday to this day, you can still hear the old church bells ringing very solemnly throughout Jackson Square, everywhere except inside the present-day cathedral. 200 years later, in 1988, there was a fire on the 3rd floor of the Cabildo Museum. The fire department arrived, got up on the 3rd floor. They found a man there dressed in 18th century clothing. He was pointing him to a door to go through there. That's where the fire first started. They were able to follow the man's direction and put out the fire with very minimal damage to the museum. After the fire was put out and things were starting to settle down, the fire department was talking to people that worked at the Cabildo. They were asking, well, where is this 18th century person you had up on the 3rd floor today? We want to tell them thanks for helping us out. And they said, we don't have any impersonators at work at the museum. One of the firefighters started painting on the wall of Don Nunez, the Spanish treasure who had started the 1788 fire. He pointed out to the rest of the firefighters, and they said, this is the man we saw up on the 3rd floor today. Apparently that was Don Nunez trying to make up for the fire he had started 200 years earlier. See the old Ursuline convent. The Ursuline nuns came here in 1727 from France to educate the girls of the colony. That's where they had their original school for girls. The nuns are no longer at this location. It is now the archives of the Archdiocese of New Orleans. The nuns still have a school for girls here in the city, but they moved it uptown where most of the rich people live nowadays. During the second fire, 1794, the fire was headed down this direction. The nuns were praying to be saved from the fire. The fire stopped in the street right behind us and blew out into the river. Now, the convent's also one of the only buildings that survived these two fires that I told you about. Now, the Ursuline Convent is the oldest building in the entire Mississippi River Valley. Construction finished there in 1753. Parts of the 3rd floor of the convent used to be an asylum where they lock up the crazy people. They had a lot of strange practices in asylums in the 1800s. A lot of mental patients died up on the 3rd floor. And from up there, people hear sounds of screams, wailing, and chains being dropped and drug onto the floor. Well, if you notice up on the 3rd floor, all the windows are locked shut. They never open. It's because of the casket girls. Casket girls were these orphan girls that the nuns would bring from France to New Orleans, and each one of the girls escorted with them a casket or a coffin. And those coffins were the bodies of the vampires they bring from France to New Orleans. According to the story, those were a handful of vampires they were able to catch in the daytime while they were still sleeping in their caskets. And they loaded them up onto a boat, brought them here to the New World, trying to exile them away from France. They locked the caskets there on the 3rd floor of the convent. A lot of people believe that those caskets are still up there on the 3rd floor, and that's why the windows never open.